right, live from Studio 6B on a Monday, October 7th. Real America's Voice. Glad you're in. Slick Rick's going to do some sports. Rick Delgado's going to do some news. Aaron and Fran holding it down, as always, on what's going to be a busy Monday night, October 7th. And we'll never say this date again the same way to say October 7th. Your mind immediately goes to what happened a year ago in the early morning hours, as we've been reflecting on most of the day on this network and others in Israel, of course. Rick Delgado's here. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I don't hear Rick Delgado.
Yeah, me.
Yeah, I don't hear.
Oh, there I am.
Now I hear you.
I'm good.
How are you?
I thought that was by design, by the way.
Well, sometimes we could have set that up. Maybe, yes.
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Like I said, I woke up this morning and I was thinking October 7th, and I just immediately, it's kind of like September 11th in a way. It's like you just don't. Your mind can only now go one place and just remember this year of anguish that it's been.
Yeah. And not only that, though, but the first thing you see on TV, if you pop on a news channel, are these, only way to describe, just walking turd baskets protesting Israel in major cities.
Flooded New York City today. Pro-Palestinian.
Unbelievable.
Flooded New York City today, of course, October 7th. They staged a march outside the stock exchange.
So you have people actively cheering on murderers and rapists and baby killers. Right there. They have no sense of
some would argue
anything.
Some would argue that you have that every day in the Democrat Party, and that's not. I'm sorry if that sounds harsh, but it's the truth. You have the river to the sea crowd. Mm-hmm. You have the squad, and by the way, all of who Kamala Harris endorses and is friends with, and who has never spoken out against. You also have today the backdrop of her being asked about our number one ally in the region on October 7th. I mean, she didn't do it today. I think she was on 60 Minutes, or it's going to be released today.
Yeah, I think the interview is tonight. They're running it.
Yeah, well, whenever it was taped, it's been taped recently.
Yeah, but they released a few.
We
clips.
all know this day is coming. October 7th is coming. She's asked about our relationship with Bibi Netanyahu, and her answer is, well, I think a better question would be, what? No. What do you mean? What do you mean? You think a better question would be? How about answer the one that was asked? Because she can't answer the one that was asked. Because she sides with the river to the sea crowd. She won't tell you that. She will tell you quite the opposite. But her actions speak louder than her words. Her words really don't speak anything but mumbo jumbo. But her actions, it's like the piece that David Danielson, I think his name is, has in the Federalist today. John Daniel Davidson. Kamala Harris claims to love America, quote unquote, but her record shows that she hates it. I'm sorry, Aaron, I didn't hear you. So there's a lot of that going on. And the clips I've seen from her 60-minute interview are, whew.
Yeah, those are supposed to be the best ones.
Yeah, we'll get to that later in the show. Right now, let's go down to Doral, Trump Doral, where President Trump is hosting a remembrance of October 7th. We're going to be covering it, and we're going to be covering the president's remarks tonight. Let's dip in here now and listen. Sounds like maybe a presentation. Yes.
When they stop right now.
I would like to call to the stage Assistant Director of the Miami-Dade Police Department, Rosie Cordero Stutz, to lead us with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing for the invocation from Rabbi Mark Rosenberg, Chief Chaplain of the Florida Highway Patrol.
We say the words every year. On Rosh Hashanah, it is written, and on Yom Kippur, it is sealed. How many shall pass and how many shall be born? Who shall live and who shall die? Those words usually bring tears to our eyes as we think of the course of life and its eventual end. We learn to face the eventuality and we prepare for it as God gives us the strength to face it. October 7, 2023 crossed that line. We did not think it was possible to imagine the amount of death and the level of inhumanity that would take place just 78 years after the Holocaust, or that it would take place on a day celebrated by dancing with happiness and joy on the holiday of Simchat Torah. How many mothers and fathers expected to get calls from their children that day, begging to be saved as they ran away from death? How many children thought they would actually see the horrors and brutality that adults only speak of in whispers? How many were preparing a festive holiday meal while their loved ones were gunned down and taken captive? October 7 has left an indelible mark on all of us, especially today as we memorialize the one-year anniversary while we continue to pray for our soldiers currently fighting there and for our hostages to return home now. Dear God, please gather our tears and use it to remember our pain and ease our hurt. 24-year-old Eden Yerushalmi managed to hide among her friends who had been brutally murdered while on the phone with her sister for 3 hours. Before being captured, she made a desperate call to the police, uttering her final words, "I'm running away. Please find me." Dear God, we are tired of running away. Please find us, protect us, and remember us. October 7 took the world of callous hatred and unforgivable brutality. Please, dear God, bless President Trump and all that he represents, as it takes a strong leader to stand up in the face of evil. Give him the courage and the resilience to bring peace to the world. Allow him the ability to accomplish the dream of prosperity, commonality, and harmony. Many around the world will remember the barbaric acts of October 7. Many will, but many won't. All of us here today stand united and share a vision of peace and tranquility, and we will always remember what took place on October 7th. May God bless us all, and may God bless President Trump with success in making the world great again. And please join me together by saying the three famous words of Am Yisrael Chai. And to that, we could certainly say, Amen.
Part of the memorial ceremony is to learn a brief verse from Ethics of Our Fathers, a Mishnah, and to say the Kaddish, the memorial prayer. I'd like to call upon, and feel very blessed to call upon, my father, my teacher, an educator for over 60 years, Rabbi Yaakov Keplun.
Mr. President, Dr. Mary Edelson, Yehuda, distinguished guests, colleagues, and many, many friends. The prayer of Kaddish, memorial prayer, is generally recited in memory of loved ones whom souls have departed this world. In it, we do not cry. We praise and exalt the Creator and seek comfort and strength by acknowledging and understanding that God Almighty's actions are incomprehensible to us and beyond our understanding. Reciting the Kaddish empowers us to maintain our convictions, and by remembering the more than 1,200 souls who were murdered on October 7th, the 700 members of Israel's armed forces have been killed in action since that time, and those hostages who are no longer among the living. We're gathering here today in a spirit of unity. We solemnly pledge they will never be forgotten. Today, I'm about to recite the Kaddish prayer in their honor, and especially on behalf of the little children who one day, when they grow up, will be reciting the Kaddish on October 7th in memory of a beloved parent whom they never got to meet. Please feel free and say Amen at the appropriate times in Kaddish. And join me in song for the final line, which expresses our ultimate prayer and request and hope for peace. That we leave here with a spirit of strength, hope, and much faith. We say the Kaddish after reciting a short portion of the Mishnah. Rabbi Hananya ben Akashia Omer, רצה הקדוש ברוך הוא לזכות את ישראל, לפיכך הרבה להם תורה ומצוות שנאמר, אדוני חפץ למען צדקו, יגדיל תורה ויאדיר. יתגדל ויתקדש מרבה, בעל מה דברה חירותי וימליך מלכותי, ויצמח ברכוני וחרב משיחי. בחייכון ובימכון ובחיי לכל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב אמרו אמן, יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעולם עולמי עולמיה, יתברך ויתשתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו, לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה דמירן בעלמה ואמרו אמן. על ישראל ועל רבנן ועל תלמידי הון ועל כל תלמידי תלמידי הון ועל כל מן דוסקים ברייתא דברתה דין ודפעלתה ותר. יהי להון ולכון שלמה רבה חינה וחיסטה ורחמים וחיים הליכין ומזונה לברכה ופולקנה מן קדם והון דבשמיא ואמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיה וחיים טובים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו ויעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. May God bless all who are gathered here today. May God bless the people of Israel. may God bless the American and Israeli hostages still in captivity, and may God bless the United States of America.
I would like to say thank you to the Honor Guard. Please take your seats. It is an enormous task to speak at a memorial for 1,200
All right, we just had a slight outage of the memorial that's going on that we are covering. We'll give them a few minutes, see if they can get the feedback. In the meantime, live from Studio 6B, Real America's Voice. I'm waiting to hear if we will be getting the feedback. Not yet? All right, so we'll just keep going at this time. Definitely a heart-wrenching thing what we're seeing down in Florida right now. I think both Slick Rick and Damon would agree. Because it's a tough day for everybody, and to see all of this, we kind of get reminded of it, but we get reminded in a way because we forget how how they were people. They were parts of people's families. And you hear, the one person talking about how they're calling the police. The girl was calling the police saying, "Please find me," as she's trying to run away. These are heart-wrenching. It's a heart-wrenching time for these people.
Yeah, and it's not being, and it's salt in the wound when you see what happened in New York City today. You're still talking about. You said Florida. You threw me off there. You said, "See what's going on in Florida."
Well, isn't this from?
Oh, you mean from the event from Trump?
From
yes. I'm sorry.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, but what happened in New York today? When you look at the vice president's comments on Bibi, and you see what's happening in New York today, and you look at this, you look at the party overall, the river to the sea crowd. I think do we have the feedback? All right, we're going to go back to Trump Doral, and we'll be back when the president is done.
14 hours later, Israeli soldiers heard cries in a cupboard and discovered two twin 10-month-old boys who are now being raised by their uncle and aunt who will never know their parents. That's why we're here. Never again. They will never be forgotten. The parents' courageous behavior is what saved their children. We're going to talk about a Bedouin medic in the Israeli forces who refused to leave his wounded comrades and kept on treating them until he was savagely murdered by Hamas. There was an 85-year-old gentleman in Kibbutz Be'eri, if I believe is correct, who, when he heard the gunshots, he told his elderly wife and the caretaker to go into the shelter. And his daughter and granddaughter went into a room that did not have a lock. He happened to have been the actor in the kibbutz's plays. He placed his chair in front of the room without a lock. And when Hamas came into the house, he played the role of a lonely old man. After they found him, his body riddled with bullets, his wife and caretaker were found alive, and his daughter and granddaughter were alive. The man's final act was saving his family and his generations to come. What stories are we not telling? We could spend the evening here. Do we tell the story of my father's great niece who put her 4-year-old and 6-month-old boy outside and was killed by Hamas? And the children will grow up never knowing the loving arms of their mother. In Israel, we say there isn't a house that doesn't have somebody affected. When you go to the north, you have people, hundreds of thousands of people who have been moved due to rockets. You go to the south, there are kibbutzim that have been ruined. Tel Aviv and Jerusalem and Haifa have had rockets. Today, it's not just a memorial. It requires each and every one of us in the room to pledge never to forget. To pledge that October 7th, 2023 will never occur again. That all of us will do everything in our power to fight anti-Semitism and not remain silent. Never again must mean never again, not words from 1945, but from 2023. It is incumbent upon each and every one of us in the room, to the world watching, to the American public, to every minister, every pastor, every imam, and every rabbi. We must educate people to respect law and order and the truth. And the truth is that good will triumph over evil eventually, but at what cost? Look at the room. That's the cost of one day. 1,200 souls. To the right and to the left, we remember the hostages who have now endured 1 year in captivity. But one thing about the Jewish nation and the American Jewish public is we will remain unbowed, undaunted. We will remember and we will rise. We will memorialize each and every single one of these victims in a manner that shows how the Jewish nation will continue on forever and ever. This event does not happen in a vacuum, so I must give some thanks. I would like to thank Oren Katan, my partner Ed Russo, who's not here tonight but was instrumental in making this event happen, Andrew Greenbaum, Itzik Rosmarin, Moshe Henkin, Moshe Kaploon, and all the volunteers who spent hours making this room happen and making this event happen. Ladies and gentlemen, entering the room in a brief moment will be two tremendous leaders. both of whom are friends. One is Dr. Miriam Adelson, who is one of Israel's biggest advocates, America's advocate, a woman who is a business leader, a philanthropic leader, and someone who cares deeply about the Jewish nation, the American people, and has made tremendous efforts to be here this evening to show that every life is precious, that 1,200 lives lost on October 7th will never be forgotten. And the second, someone who needs no introduction, certainly in this room, but a stalwart friend of Israel. His accomplishments speak for itself. The embassy, the Abraham Accords, the Golan Heights, but above all, his care, his affection, worrying about those who are less fortunate, leading the nation in its times of crises by example. Just recently, he was in a hurricane-ravaged state worrying about communications, but it wasn't his responsibility. But yet everything that goes on in America is his responsibility because he's a true American leader. He has fought for Israel, fought against tyranny, and believes strongly in the commitment of religious liberty and justice for all, equally and fairly. As American Jews, we humbly pledge tonight to never forget the 1,200 souls lost on that day, to never forget the families who lost loved ones since that day, and certainly never to forget the hostages until they are home safely, whether they be the American hostages, the British hostage, the Israeli hostages. Every one of them is a precious soul and deserves to be brought home safely, quickly, and immediately. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Miriam Adelson and former President Donald J. Trump. Ladies and gentlemen, please find your seats. Dr. Miriam Adelson.
Good evening, Erev Tov. First, I would like to give big thanks to the family, the Kaplun family, Yuda and his son Moshe Kaplun, and Ed Russo and Alon Katan for organizing this great event tonight to memorize the terrible things that happened in October 7. An event that brings us together here, a fraternity of two faiths, Christian and Jewish, to mark a dark anniversary, a year since October 7, 2023, the darkest day of my life, of countless lives. It was a day whose horrors unfolded on the other side of the world while America slept. But a year on, after Israel's war with Hamas in Gaza has become a regional struggle against the genocidal and fanatical Islamic Republic of Iran, we are all wide awake to its impact on the entire world. And the world is looking again for U.S. leadership. Many of you will know Admiral Daniel Hagari, chief IDF spokesman. He has appeared on TV regularly to brief the Israelis and the American about what's going in Israel of this terrible and existential war. He said something remarkable the other day on TV, that he is stuck in October 7, 2023. That the hundreds of sunrises and sunsets he has seen since all felt like they were part of the same horrible, unending day. I understand that we are still learning new details about how 1,200 of our brothers and sisters were kidnapped and tortured and butchered by Hamas and by supposedly innocent Palestinian civilians that you see in the pictures invaded also Israel, though they were not part of their army, and raped and killed Israeli. So these are the innocent people. But despite the profound pain, the heartbreak, the worry for the 101 blameless children, women, and men still held hostage in Gaza, I am not stuck in this day. I am focused on what October 7 means for Jewish history and the Jewish future, and the lessons are grim. I am a Tzabarit, a native-born Israeli. I was raised to believe that the rebirth of this Jewish state marked the beginning of the end of the global anti-Semitism that had robbed my parents of their families back in Poland during the World War II. As a child, I felt that something bad had happened in Europe. Rumors, gossiping. But I first learned the facts of the Holocaust when I was just 16. And Israel acts of the Holocaust when I was just 16. And Israel put the Nazi war criminal Adolf Eichmann on trial, because before that our parents wouldn't talk. They didn't want to hurt us, they couldn't talk. Still, the survivors who testified during Eichmann trial sounded like they had come from an entirely aligned reality. One of them even referred to the concentration camp, Planet Auschwitz, like he was in another planet. With my late husband, Sheldon Zichrono Livracha, I was proud to sit on the board of the United States Holocaust Memorial Museum and to sponsor Yad Vashem in Jerusalem. We did so mainly in commemoration of our 6 million martyrs, because we believed in the motto, never again. But I lost that belief a year ago. Gone forever, because what was never meant to happen again happened again. Jews suffered a pogrom. They were helpless and defenseless. They lost their lives and their liberty and their dignity to the bloodthirsty mob whose yells were in Arabic rather than Russian or Polish or Ukrainian or German. And when Israel finally fought back, it discovered all too many people in the West who preferred to condemn it rather than Hamas, who accused Israel of genocide, who called for Israel to be denied weapons of self-defense, who made Jews feel unwelcome on US college campuses, who treated Israelis as if they were the war criminals. These are the kind of people who allowed the Holocaust to happen, and they are the kind of people who would allow another October 7 to happen, God forbid. If there is another October 7, it will come with a mushroom cloud. The same Iran that armed and funded Hamas in Gaza, Hezbollah in Lebanon, and the Houthis in Yemen is working hard to get nuclear bombs with which to finish the job of destroying the Jewish state. That must not happen. Israel must not let it happen. And Israel's friend, most important among them, this great United States, must not let it happen. I always like to quote a sentence from the Bible. And this time, I will say it in Hebrew and translate it. בכל עת אוהב הרע, ואח לצרה ייוולד. A friend loves at all times, and a brother is born for adversity. Which brings me to our keynote speaker. Had he been in the White House a year ago, I'm totally convinced that October 7 would have never happened. Okay. You didn't let me finish the sentence. That October 7 wouldn't have happened. Hamas would not have dared. Hezbollah would not have dared. The Houthis would not have dared. And yes, the Ayatollah of Iran would never have dared. Because evildoers understand when they are faced with a real courage. They can spot a strong leader who will make their lives hell if they get out of line. They laughed at UN resolution and at statement condemning both sides of the conflict. As long as they are not called out for what they are, evil, they know they will never suffer consequences. And this man has no problem with calling them out. He knows that the enemies of Israel are the enemies of the United States and the free world because they are the enemies of civilization. He knows how to talk tough. But more importantly, he knows when the time for talk is over and it is time to fight for what is right. He is Donald J. Trump, the best president America ever had. And the best president America will have again, God willing, come January. Please join me welcoming our friend and our brother, President Trump.
Wow, that was something, huh? Thank you very much, Miriam. Thank you. Very special woman, I have to say that. Friend of mine for a long time, and she is very, very special. And her husband is, I mean, this was one tough cookie. He loved Israel. And you talk about special. That was a special man, wasn't he? He was great. So I want to thank you very much, Miriam, and for all of the exceptional commitment that you've given to the safety and security and the prosperity of the United States and Israel. Before we begin, I would like to tell you that there's a very violent hurricane that's coming down the line, and it's a Category 5, which is something that I've never heard a Category 5 actually coming onto land, but it looks like it's going to. And right smack in the middle of Florida, nobody's seen a line like that, and it's heading there quickly. I have to tell you that I called Miriam. I said, I was in New York, and I said, Miriam, maybe I shouldn't be flying. I think I'm the only person that flew down to Florida tonight, because I didn't have a chance with her. So, I said, Miriam, maybe I should stay back and, heading into a hurricane, Miriam. It made no difference. No, you have to be here. Our friends are there. And I said, okay, when you say that, I'm going to be there 100%. I'm going to be there. I was watching the airplane highways, and they were all heading this way as I was going that way. They said, what's he doing? But I wouldn't have missed this regardless. I wouldn't have missed this for anything. This is a very special time, and it's a very special day. This is the day we have to do it. This was the day we had to do it. We don't have to postpone it for a week. This is the day, because I'm looking forward to coming back and maybe seeing all of these seats filled up the next time. That's what I want. Right? That's what we want. So we're praying for Florida, and we hope everyone is safe, and we're praying for North Carolina and all of the different places. You look at Georgia and Alabama and Tennessee and South Carolina and Florida. It's amazing. This has been an amazing period of time, but the response has been very weak, unbelievably weak. Nobody's ever seen such a weak response, so we have to get a strong response. And now we have another one coming, and it looks like it's going to be a whopper. I also want to thank Rabbi Kaplan for doing such a great job. I appreciate it. Your son, I appreciate that. And we have a lot of very, very powerful people here tonight, great people. Senator Rick Scott, a big fan of Miriam and a big fan of Israel. Members of Congress, Carlos Jimenez, Mario Diaz-Balart, thank you. Maria Salazar, Guy Reschenthaler, David Kutzoff, Congressman Lee Zeldin. He's helping us win New York. We got to win New York. We're going to see if we can do it, right, Lee? We're going to see if we can do it. Ambassador David Friedman, what a job he did. Everybody loved him. Robin Bernstein, where's Robin? Robin, hi, Robin. How are you? Good job you did as the ambassador. And Duke Buchan, thank you very much. He raised a lot of money for our campaign. We appreciate it. The Consul General, and I think you all know, Mara, where are you? Where is he? Where is he? What a good job you've done. Where are you? Thank you very much. What a beautiful job. Thank you very much. Thank you. And Florida House members, Danny Perez and Randy Fine. Randy Fine. Where is Randy Fine? Randy Fine's been out there. Thank you, Randy. Great job. State Senator Ileana Garcia, Keith Raboy, thank you. Ed Russo, Ed Russo, environmental specialist. Whenever I have a problem, I call Ed Russo, and he solves the environmental problem for me. We appreciate it. And somebody who's been a great defender of ours on television, on Fox and elsewhere, but particularly on Fox, Elizabeth Pipko. Where's Elizabeth? She has been so great. Thank you, Elizabeth. And a person, one of the greatest business people in the country, in the United States, and I think actually beyond. And she's been a fan, and I've been a fan of hers, but she's been a friend of mine for a long time, Safra Katz. Thank you very much. Thank you, Safra. Haven't seen you. You look well. So we're here this evening in solemn remembrance of one of the darkest hours in all of human history. 1 year ago today, every civilized person was filled with shock and horror and grief at the news of an evil and so absolute that, and nobody's seen anything like it. Nobody's seen anything that it really can barely be described. You can't describe it. October 7th was not just the deadliest day for the Jewish people since the Holocaust. It was not just the worst terror attack since 9/11. It was an attack on humanity itself. It was a hideous, incredible cruelty. It was chilling savagery. It was demonic delight and the destruction of innocent life on October 7th. It seemed as if the gates of hell had sprung open and unleashed their horrors onto the world, and that's exactly what happened. What a moment in time, what a moment in horrible history, horrible history. Today we mourn more than 1,200 innocent victims of the October 7th attacks, whose memory we honor with 1,200 beautiful individual candles, and we honor them with grace and with gratitude for their lives and for their families, what their families have gone through. And maybe we'll have a moment of silence, please. Thank you very much. To every family that lost a loved one, I know so many of them, on that terrible day, including several here tonight, we grieve with you, we stand with you, and we make you this sacred and sacred vow, very simple vow, a vow you've heard many times, and sometimes it's honored and sometimes it's not, but this will be honored. Never again. Never again. The monsters who perpetrated those murders also took over 250 hostages, men, women, and children, including 12 Americans. In so doing, they inflicted the most unthinkable torture not only on their captives, but also on the families who were forced to live day after day in excruciating agony and pain, not knowing whether their loved ones were dead or alive. Can you think of anything worse? Tonight, we send our love to every innocent soul who remains in Hamas captivity. We just are not going to stand for it. We're not going to take it. We're not going to take it any longer. We pray that through the darkness they know that we have not forgotten them, that we have not forsaken them. We will never forsake them, and we will never abandon them. And with God's help, they will come safely home, and it will be soon. We hope it will be very soon. Very, very soon. And we hope they're safe. Nobody knows. I was talking to somebody today, and the family has no idea. They think their boy is safe. Beautiful boy, beautiful young guy, American. He went over there to enjoy and to pray, and they've never seen him again, but they think he's alive. And can you imagine that? Can you even imagine? Let me also say to all of the people of Israel who have endured a long year search of anger and slander and war, our hearts are united with yours. We are very united with yours. The bond between the United States and Israel is strong and enduring. And if and when they say, when I'm president, I don't say that. I never say that. If and when I'm president of the United States, it will once again be stronger and closer than it ever was before. We have to win this election. If we don't win this election, there's tremendous consequence for everything. You know, I say that November 5th will be the most important day in the history of our country. I think it will also be the most important day in the history of Israel, if you want to know the truth. I believe that. I think you believe that too. Thank you. Over the past year, there has been an effort by some to deny the horrors of October 7th, just as some unbelievably deny the Holocaust itself. And you have that, and you have people that actually say, oh, October 7th, it never happened. Where do these people come from? Where do they come from? And they don't believe it. They don't believe it. They want others to believe it. They don't believe it. That's why it's so important to remember and to state clearly for history what happened on that terrible day. The only way we can keep our vow is never again, and it really is to also say never, ever forget. We can never forget. The nightmare of that day still hangs. The horrible legacy of what's taken place, the survivors, the families of the dead, and Jews all over the world. Hamas raped, tortured, maimed, and murdered innocent civilians in the most barbaric ways imaginable. Nobody can believe what they saw, and it's there for those to see. If you want to see it, it's a terrible thing. I've seen it. They paraglided into a music festival full of life and beauty. From the skies they came and massacred young people who came for joy and happiness and peace. They were loving young people, wonderful young people, beautiful people. One young woman whose friend had been killed was seen begging on her knees for her life. She was begging, please, please. Her last words were, don't kill me, please don't kill me, before the terrorists shot her dead in the face. Elsewhere, a child and an adult were bound together with metal wire. They were burned alive. A baby was shot through the heart while still in the mother's womb, ready to be born, and shot. Today we reaffirm the entire world to hear there can be no acceptance, no excuse, and no understanding of this kind of evil. It's the evil like nobody has ever seen before. Nothing can justify it. Nothing can rationalize it. And any person who sympathizes with it, with these terrible atrocities, is a sickness in their soul and a darkness in their heart. And these are people that can never be our allies or our friends. Almost as shocking as October 7th itself is the outbreak of anti-Semitism that we have all seen in its wake. I never thought I was going to see this. Never, ever. This is so incredible to be witnessing. Whoever thought? We thought this was very, very rarefied, putrid air. We never thought we'd see it, and we certainly never thought we'd see it in this country. And a lot of that has to do with the leadership of this country. This attack, yeah, well, that's true. We need leadership. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. It's very sad to see. I never thought I'd see it. This attack should have rallied the entire world in support of the Jewish people and the Jewish homeland. Instead, an ancient scourge of anti-Jewish hatred. And this was something we thought was left to hundreds and thousands of years ago. I mean, this was something we never thought could happen. The anti-Jewish hatred has returned even here in America, in our streets, our media, and our college campuses, and within the ranks of the Democrat Party in particular. Not in the Republican Party, I will tell you that. It's not in the Republican Party. And I say that the Republican Party has not been infected by this horrible disease. And hopefully it won't be. It won't be as long as I'm in charge, I can tell you that. These endless candles, photos, and empty chairs remind us why it's so important that the toxic poison of anti-Semitism be condemned, confronted, and stopped. Anti-Semitic bigotry has no place in a civilized society. It has no place in our universities, and it has no place in the United States of America. No place. Over 2,500 survivors of the Holocaust living in Israel were directly impacted by the horrors of October 7th. Many were forced to flee their homes. They cannot believe it happened. Some even lost their lives. Actually, many lost their lives. One of them was Moshe Ridler. Moshe was escaped from a concentration camp at the age of 11, only to die at the hands of the same vile hate 8 decades later. Can you imagine? Can you imagine his thought process when he saw this happening? Can you even imagine it? Hamas terrorists murdered Moshe at 91 years old for the same reason the Nazis put him in a camp, simply because he was a Jew. The world cannot continue down this dangerous path. We must stop this perilous slide into conflict, hatred, and destruction. And we must really, honestly stop it now. It cannot go on because it's going to only get worse if it does. The October 7th attack would never have happened if I was president, I can tell you. The past few years have proven that weakness only begets violence and war, and you see that it's weakness, but it's also, there's a lot of hatred going around also, not just weakness, it's hatred. There's a lot of hatred on a certain side. What is needed more than ever is a return of unwavering American leadership and unquestioned American strength. We were strong, we were powerful, we were respected like this country has not been respected in many, many decades. Just 4 years ago, that's what I intend to deliver as the 47th President of the United States. We're going to deliver everything that we want. As you know, Hamas has now been severely degraded, and Hezbollah has recently been dealt very, very powerful, crippling blows. With strength and the right leadership, the dawn of a new, more harmonious Middle East is finally within our reach. It's finally within our reach. But you have no idea the role that the United States has to play in order to get that ball over the goal line. We have to get it into the end zone. And if it's not the United States, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. We have to be able to get it done and get it done properly and get back to a wonderful, beautiful way of life. You have to be able to do it. You have to finish what you began, and you have to finish it quickly. So here is my commitment to you on the solemn date. I will not allow the Jewish state to be threatened with destruction. I will not allow another Holocaust of the Jewish people. I will not allow a jihad to be waged on America or our allies. And I will support Israel's right to win its war on terror, and it has to win it fast. No matter what happens, it has to go fast. Thank you. And I want to, while we're at this point, I want to thank Mr. Steve Witkoff, a great entrepreneur in New York and Florida and elsewhere, I think everywhere, frankly. But he's made a major contribution, so I just want you to know that. I think it's appropriate to bring that up. What do you think? And Steve is the only one that doesn't really care if I do, but he's been very generous. Thank you very much, Steve. I appreciate it. With his wonderful, beautiful boy. Here at home, I will defend our American Jewish population. I will protect your communities, your schools, your places of worship, and your values. We will remove the jihadist sympathizers and Jew haters. We're going to remove the Jew haters who do nothing to help our country. They only want to destroy our country. And we will never let the horrors of October 7th be repeated here on American soil. We will not let that happen, and we will solve the problem that we have. If you look at what happened just 2 days ago in New York City, I couldn't believe it. I said, it's starting all over again. The level of violence was as bad as it was last summer. If we can achieve all of that, we can really make sure that those who perished on October 7th will not have died in vain. They cannot have died in vain. You cannot let that happen. With God's help, their sacrifice will have given way to a safer Jewish homeland, a stronger state of Israel, a more secure America, and at long last, we will have achieved the dream of some generations. We are going to make this, we are going to turn this, and you can never say a total positive because all of those people that have died, but we're going to turn this into something where they can be proud of what's happened. They can say, we sacrificed our lives for something very special. There has to be unity, there has to be peace, there has to be strength. We need so many qualities. We need every single quality. We're going to bring it all together, and we will have peace in the Middle East. We will have strength and resilience, and we will have a very powerful and strong Israel, and I will be with you all the way. Thank you very much. God bless you, and God bless the people of Israel. God bless America. Thank you very much.
All right, there you go. President Trump, live from Doral, speaking on the remembrance of obviously October 7th today, a year, as he correctly put, a year of anguish, torture, war, attacks. Nice remarks from the president. And really just a distinction between what we've seen from the current vice president who would like to be president and those remarks right there from the former president who, God willing, will be the president again. The difference is not lost on anyone who's paying attention. Did you hear the vice president's comments I asked about Bibi?
Yes. And she couldn't have handled it any worse. Well, she could have, but for her capabilities, that's basically what you might expect. She doesn't want to rock the boat. She can't alienate her Jew haters if she supports Jewish people. So she's got to try and paint the proverbial fence, of which now she basically ruins it for everyone.
Yeah. So good, nice remarks from the president. We're going to try to talk to our own Tara Dahl, who's obviously there in the room. And do we have her? All right, let's go live to Doral now. Now Tara Dahl is there. She's in the room, and she joins us now. Tara, how are you? All right, we'll get back to Tara.
He just gave.
Oh, there she is. There she is. There you go. Now I can hear her. Tara, how are you?
Now you can hear me. I'm good. It's great to be with you.
So we were just saying nice remarks from the former president, and obviously on a day of remembrance and a day of what's gone on this last year, but also on a day where you draw the distinction between what we heard from the current vice president when asked on 60 Minutes about our relationship with Bibi Netanyahu and Israel, and that distinction between what we just heard from this president and thinking back on the Abraham Accords and what the relationship with Israel was like. Quite a staggering difference if you've been paying attention, right?
Oh, it couldn't be more clear between President Trump and Kamala Harris on the position of Israel. I mean, here you have President Trump, who just came out tonight and said that November 5th is going to be the most important date for America's history, but also Israel's history. You have a president who is saying he's going to stand behind Israel to finish the war, finish their wars. You have Kamala Harris tying the hands of Israel right now and pushing for a ceasefire, allowing Hamas, Hezbollah, the Houthis, the Iranian proxies in Iraq and Syria to attack Israel. It is such and I guess, again, the Golan Heights, the sovereignty of Israel's land. Getting behind Israel, it is black and white, and you just could not have a more clear policy difference between the two of them.
Yeah, and on a day that we remember what happened a year ago, and again, the president rightly points out, the vice president, she wants to be the president, and she's asked about Bibi, and we heard what she says about, well, maybe a better question would be if we have a nice friendship, and the answer to that is yes, essentially is what she said. But, it runs deeper than that in this party. When you look at her, when you look at who she's endorsed, when you look at where she's raised money for, when you look at the squad, when you look at from the river to the sea crowd, which she's all in on, she's never spoken out against any of them. She's friends with Tlaib and all of them, all of these anti-Semitic Jew haters, all of them. Bernie Sanders, Chuck Schumer, all self-hating. It's a bigger problem than just her, as the president rightly points out tonight, right? It's something that runs deep into this party now.
Well, it's the Obama administration. It's the policy of the Obama administration. It's a continuation of it. We know that. I mean, when Biden got elected, Obama came out with the New York Times and said 90% of Biden's staff worked for him, and they're continuing his policies. Those are his own words. And Kamala Harris is just a puppet again for the continuation of those policies. It's not Kamala running, it is the machine. It is the Obama administration, and their policies have been anti-Israel since day one. They have been pro-Iran, anti-Israel. I spent a lot of time, guys, in the Middle East under the Obama administration during the Arab Spring, pushing back against the Obama administration's policies because they were supporting terrorists. They had changed on the side of the war on global jihad, and they were supporting jihadists. And that wasn't just me and other Americans saying it. These were the Muslims in these Arab countries that were going out to the streets with signs saying that Obama and your administration is supporting terrorists. I had so many people, guys, come up to me and say, why is your administration supporting terrorists? And that's what Kamala Harris and Tim Walz also, they're not on the side of our Arab allies, our Muslim allies. They're on the side of the Muslim Brotherhood, the Iranian Islamic Republic. They're on the side of Islamic political jihad, the political Islam. That's the difference between the two. Trump stands with the Jews. Trump stands with our Arab allies, those that are fighting against jihad. Kamala and Tim Walz side with the Islamists and the Muslim Brotherhood and jihadists. It's very clear.
It is very clear as we head into about 28 days before the election, Tara, while I have you. I've been making the distinction that Kamala Harris can only from here bleed support into elections. You know, they thought the calendar was going to work for her in this compressed time frame that we had. They could try to hide her, keep her away. But now that we're 28 days away, you see the support in some of these polls seems to be going the wrong way for her. I've drawn the analogy that she's hanging on, you know, it was two hands, now it's down to one hand, now it's down to four fingers, maybe three fingers, and they're sliding away. I can only see her bleeding support into the election. Give me just your overall view here before I let you go of if you agree with that, number one, and where you think we are 28 days away.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. I mean, this is a woman that hasn't received one single vote from the American people to be elected. But yet she's calling Trump a threat to democracy. I think the American people are seeing through this. And she was polling as the worst vice president just a year prior, even a month prior to them being selected to run for Biden. It was a total coup against Biden. And so American people see that and look at just the policies. So absolutely, the only voters that she has that she is trying to appease right now is the illegal aliens. Those are her greatest voter base that she has.
I got about 2 minutes here. I got quick time for one more question. The other thing, that's interesting, Tim Walz goes to Fox News Sunday to get whooped up on by Shannon Bream on Sunday. She's going on The View and call her daddy. She's spending time in California. What does that say about what they're seeing on their internal polling, that they're sending him to Fox News to get beat up with no facts, get run over from a real journalist, and she's going on things like call her daddy? I mean, are they desperate to find new demographics? What exactly is the strategy here?
Well, I don't think they have a strategy of winning the votes, because if they did, they wouldn't just have selected and crowned Kamala Harris. I don't think they're trying to. I honestly think that their strategy is to get the votes of illegal aliens. They're not trying to get the American votes, American citizens. They're trying to get the non-citizens. And they're also trying to get Hollywood, because they know that they have a mouthpiece, they have a platform, and they're trying to use the mainstream media. So that is what their strategy is, I think. It's not to go to the Americans. It's not to go door to door and to get those suburban women, mothers and fathers, and that's not their strategy. Their strategy is to go to the mainstream media. Their strategy is to go to the Hollywood celebrities, like you saw them go on Oprah. And their strategy, again, is to go to illegal aliens. I honestly believe that. I don't think they're trying to win the votes of the American people.
All right, Tara Dahl, great stuff live from Doral. Thanks, Tara, for joining us. We always appreciate it.
Thanks, guys. Have a good night.
All right, live from Studio 6B, 13 past the hour. We'll do some sports and news, recap what we just watched from President Trump, all when we get back right after this.
And we're live in the chat.
Live in the chat. Come on.
All right, we're live in the chat at 9:14. Slick, I don't think I've even officially welcomed you to the show tonight. How are you?
Hey, Big D. I'm doing well. Doing well. Thank you. Good to be with you guys.
Whatever you're watching on, hit the like, subscribe, thumbs up. We appreciate it. This event, by the way, those of you who watched me this morning said this would be a regular show. That's because that's what I thought it was going to be. I did not know. Well, it was supposed to start at 6 and didn't start till about the 7 o'clock hour, and then obviously ran longer. So we apologize for not being able to really do a show, but we got we got 3 segments left. We'll do that. So welcome on in, those in the chat. How was your weekend, Slick?
It was very good.
How'd you like that clip from Ben Bergquam at the...
That was a great shout out for the show, man. That was fantastic.
I streamed for 7 hours on Saturday.
I watched it quite a bit after you gave me a heads up.
It was quite entertaining to be streaming while I was covering America's Voice coverage and to see that happen.
That rally was unbelievable.
Pretty fun.
Well, who's arguing with Harry?
Is Harry on?
Harry's
on air?
Here.
No, he's just in your ear.
He's just a voice in our
so
ears.
no one can hear what Harry's saying as he talks to me. Okay. All right, good.
Okay. Yeah, it was fantastic. Really was. Great coverage, by the way. And that was just, that whole rally, I so enjoyed that. Obviously, it was a momentous occasion. But, man, when that opera singer came out and did Ave Maria, the hair on my neck stood up. Incredible.
Yeah, it was quite the day.
What an emotional day.
Quite the day.
Loved it.
You got some reads here.
Oh.
Harry! Oh.
Well, let me talk to you about our friends from Birch Gold. Sounds like the blues on a Monday. There's a lot at stake in this upcoming election. But regardless of who is sitting in the White House, the fuse on the economy has already been lit. Even 4 years of a conservative presidency will not be enough to turn the tide on our $35 trillion of national debt. And if the left wins, it'll be like throwing gas on that dumpster fire. You don't have too much control over the election's outcome, but what you can do right now is protect your savings by diversifying into gold with the help of our friends from the Birch Gold Group. For millennia, gold has stood firm in the face of greedy governments, economic upheavals, and global strife. And it can protect you, and it can protect you right now. Birch Gold will help you convert an IRA or 401k into an IRA in physical gold, tax-free and penalty-free, and it doesn't cost you a penny out of pocket to do it. In the past 4 years, the buying power of the U.S. dollar has continually declined. The price of gold has increased 40%. Coincidence? I think not. Text the word America right now to 989898. Get your free information kit on gold and trust Birch Gold to protect your savings. Text the word America and send it to the number 989898. Do it today. Well, let me talk to you about My Patriot Supply. Let me ask you a question as well. Do you think our country's going in the right direction, or does it feel like everything's falling apart? Well, if you're feeling alarmed, you're not alone. In fact, Americans from all walks of life have taken action to prepare for whatever's coming next, and that starts with having an emergency food supply. Storing food in your home is the right thing to do because we're living in crazy times, which explains why so many people are preparing. Right now, You can get ready, too, with a 3-month emergency food kit from My Patriot Supply. Comes with delicious foods like creamy stroganoff, honey wheat bread, mushroom rice pilaf. The entire kit orders about over 2,000 calories a day. The food kit will last up to 25 years. And, of course, who knows what the country will look like then. But when that day comes, you'll be ready. Go to MyPatriotSupply.com right now and order your 3-month emergency food kit from My Patriot Supply. MyPatriotSupply.com. Go right now. MyPatriotSupply.com. You look at what's going on with these storms. Another one, just intensifying over the Gulf. The warm water now to a Category 4, possibly Category 5. It looks like it's going to weaken. But, man, you talk about emergencies popping up and what you could need emergency food for. You're seeing them right before your eyes here in the last couple weeks. And obviously all the way through, just not going to end until probably October. End of October, November. We're in season right now. People think it ends like kind of into September. It really doesn't. It's really not till you get to November.
Yeah.
So go to MyPatriotSupply.com and check them out. So we covered the president live from Doral on the anniversary, obviously, of October 7th, and I thought the president's remarks were good. But it's just so easy given what's in the news to draw the distinction between what we're currently seeing, and Tara Dahl lays it out very well. She knows it, been in the region, knows the policies, and she's right about this is Obama 3.0, whatever we're on now, 3.0, 2.0.
Well, the potential for 3.0.
Potential for 3.0, yeah. And it's a problem that runs deep throughout the Democrat Party. So, all right, let's do a little news, and we'll try to do some sports as well. Here, let's do some news and catch up on this other news today. Rick Delgado's got it. What's going on?
All right. Well, you were talking about the hurricane situation. Of course, we are in season, of which now we know for sure from Alejandro Mayorkas, that dirtbag, that they don't have enough money to get them through the season. So, hey, they'll do what they can, but don't worry, they're going to take care of their friends in Lebanon. This all coming out over the last few days as Hurricane Milton now.
Lebanon, North Carolina?
No.
Lebanon, Georgia?
Not Lebanon, Pennsylvania
Florida.
Either. Nope.
There's not Lebanon in any one of those 3 states?
Nope.
So what Lebanon is she talking about?
Oh, they're talking about the Middle East. Where Hezbollah takes sets up camp. But don't worry, they'll take care of them. Hurricane Milton, though, is set to make landfall in Florida as a Category 5 by Wednesday morning, and it's expected to be even worse than Helene. And if you remember, Helene laid a pretty good wallop on Florida, not as bad as what happened, of course, in North Carolina. But 6 million residents are under hurricane watch warnings, and many have been ordered to evacuate as life-threatening 15-foot high storm surges and winds up to 175 miles per hour barrel in. The National Weather Service in Tampa said if the storm stays on the current track, it'll be the worst storm to impact Tampa in over 100 years.
Jeez.
It's scary and dangerous.
It's just not survive. I mean, listen, if you're in that area and you're being told to run, you better run. You cannot wait it out. You will not wait it out. You will not ride it out. If you've ever seen what 3 or 4 foot storm surges look like, 10 or 12 to 15 is not survivable. It is not survivable with 150 mile an hour wind on top of it.
Right. Meteorologists are calling this astronomical Milton the 4th strongest hurricane ever on this side of the world. They're talking about ever. Noah Bergen
4-mile wide eye to the storm.
Yeah.
They're saying.
Called the storm nothing short of astronomical. I'm at a loss for words, he says, to meteorologically describe to you the storm's small eye and intensity, reporting wind gusts as high as 200 miles an hour with a max sustained at 180. This is now the 4th strongest hurricane ever recorded by pressure on this side of the world. The eye is tiny at nearly 3.8 miles wide. This hurricane is near the mathematical limit of what Earth's atmosphere over the ocean water can produce. So if that puts it into perspective for you, in short, it's huge and it's horrible. So
you can't imagine 180. What did you say? 180 sustained?
180 sustained, 200 gusts.
Yeah, you have nobody in the world knows what that feels. Just forget it. Yeah, I mean, some of us when they think, man, it's windy outside, it's like 30.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, by the grace of God, hopefully it'll weaken as it hits the land. I got to pray for that.
But videos and photos posted on social media have begun to show the mass exodus from Florida ahead of Hurricane Milton, which is, of course, like I mentioned, set to hit as early as Wednesday morning. Mass evacuations currently in underway. So if
Farmer
you are
Brook-
in that area,
Farmer Brook reminds me that trees know.
Yeah.
Trees know what the sustained winds are.
Right.
So you may not know. I don't know.
Yeah.
But our friends, the trees, do know.
Harry knows.
Leave it to them. Yeah.
Good one, Slick. All right, what else, Delgado?
Let's see. What else do I have here? Hold on a moment. I'm flipping my browser. This story, I don't know if you guys caught this, but I know, hey, you like polls, Damon. And this one is just for you, as Kamala Harris's visit to the border and speech outlining her economic vision has captured the attention of a sizable share of Americans as September came to a close. According to new findings from The Breakthrough, a polling project that tracks public sentiment in following election news, some emerging trends in the data hint at warning signs for the VP's campaign. The share of Americans hearing anything at all about Harris has dropped each week since her presidential debate with former President Trump in early September. And during the same time, the tone of Americans use describing what they've heard has grown more negative, reaching the lowest point of her campaign in the latest results. Looking at what people say they have heard or read or seen about Harris, the word lie has emerged as the persistent top word that some Americans associate with her. In the latest data, it was the fourth most mentioned word after border, polls, and campaign, and it reigned sixth the previous week, the second week after the ABC presidential debate. So as you can see,
Hanging on.
the word lie...
Hanging on for dear life, baby.
Yeah, the word lie seems to be attached to Vice President Harris right now during her campaign.
28 days going to seem like 28 years to that campaign. Holding on, slipping. Fingers are slipping. Fingers are slipping, and there's a long drop down to reality. It's coming.
Amen.
All right, live from Studio 6B. More to do. We're back right after this. All right, we're live in the chat. Someone said Damon likes polls only at Woody's.
I get it.
That could mean several things.
Yeah.
Come on, Slick. Hello, Big D and the
make it
boys.
rain,
Janice
Big D.
on Facebook. Chris Allen says Damon loves Woody's polls. Is Woody running a poll? They're probably as accurate as anybody else.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's a big poll.
I found out about it through Bible study, David says. Okay, Gary says, see, now they're going too fast. I can't read them all.
Oh, you can't. They're like
Hit the thumbs up, like, subscribe, whatever channel you're
Child
on.
of the King gave us $100, Big D.
Oh,
my goodness.
Child of the
Bless
King,
Child of
super
the King
chat on YouTube.
is the best super
What was
chat.
the comment that went with it? I didn't see it.
Damon likes the poll.
That's not what the comment was.
Sure.
No, just, you're the best.
Child of the King watched me, I think, for about 7 hours, as a lot of people did. Man,
Oh, the Child of the King says no one's better than you.
Oh.
No, I said that to Child of the King.
Here
Child of
we
the King had a gnome comment, though.
Oh, what a surprise. What a surprise.
Hey.
Wow, this YouTube chat is flying. What happened?
Delgado, check into Candace Owens' series on Kamala.
Kamala.
Who Dat Nation? What's up on X?
Kamala.
What's going on?
Come on.
Brenda Joy on YouTube says, hello, Big D and the guys. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Hello. Chat. Hello, chat.
Hello, Norman.
It's Newman. Hello, Newman.
No, Norman.
No.
Who's Norman?
Norman.
Norman
Don't call
who?
me Chubsy Ubsy. Call me Norman.
Just open regular
don't even
on
know
this
what that is.
segment.
Don't call me Norman. Call me Chubsy.
Yeah, I'll call it.
I'll call you
I'll call it.
Chubsy Ubsy.
Oh, Miss
All right, Slick's new name is Chubsy Ubsy. I don't know
Miss
why,
Crabtree.
but he wants to be
Something
Chubsy.
lays heavy on Harry's heart.
Bum, bum, ba, 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 ba.
There you go, Slick.
That kills.
We'll do the recap of the odds makers
Oh,
here
that's
in
right.
in a second.
Yeah. Sue Burrow. I know him nothing.
We'll do it in a second. Couple minutes.
In the YouTube chat.
Do 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 ba-da-dum, ba-ba-da. Do 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 do. All right, 30 minutes past the hour, live from Studio 6B on a Monday, October 7th. Slick's here. We're going to get to some sports here in a little bit. We'll get to some more news with Delgado. Aaron and Fran holding it down. Harry on the highway in studio. Harry will not be here long because he's on his way, I guess, to the vice president, J.D. Vance. He'll be following him this week. So Harry's on his way, I think, to Arizona. Tucson, Arizona for Harry on the highway. He'll be out there tomorrow.
Get your ass on a plane, Harry.
Harry, get off the couch. Harry, get to Arizona.
on a plane.
So, as I was saying, I was streaming for I streamed 7 hours on Saturday for the president's big day in Butler.
You did?
Yep, and had a great audience all day long. And I'm watching Real America's Voice coverage was just fantastic. Brian Glenn, Ben Bergquam, Amanda, David Zier, all of them have covered events this weekend. It was all fantastic, but specifically on Saturday, Brian Glenn out there covering Butler and Ben Bergquam talking to the people that no one does it better than Ben. And I'm watching, so I'm streaming their coverage and I'm covering their coverage of the thing, and we're having a grand old time. And I'm watching Ben Bergquam talk, and this goes up to a guy and his wife. He puts the puts the microphone in front of him and says, "What were you telling me about a certain show?" On he says, "Yeah, Studio 6B. I want Slick Rick shoes." And I just thought, man, I tell you,
Best thing on TV, he said.
Best thing on TV.
Yeah.
He said better than anything Fox ever did, and everything. And now we appreciate that, and it proved the point. And old Harry on the highway says to me all the time, you know, you got people out there watching you. You got fans out there. All you guys are just locked in your room here, and you don't get out there into the people. And you just got people everywhere that love 6B. So, to that point, about 2 weeks ago, I was sent a video. Speaking of people out there, and we always say we get behind this microphone for 2 hours a night, and we don't. You know, I went to Nashville, got a little bit of met some of you, but you never really know who you're talking to or who's out there. And I got this video sent to me about 2 weeks ago, and I watched it and thought, well, man, that just makes it all worth it. I showed it to my wife and my kids and everybody who was around me that day. And it was this video right here. Aaron, roll it.
I'm doing it right now.
There you go. That young man right there is Spencer, and Spencer watches our opening of the show, and he likes that music, man. He's into that music. And that got sent to me, and I thought, man, that's the cutest thing I've ever seen. And you talk about not knowing who's out there.
And they say he does it twice a night, right?
Yeah, we got both hours. So please welcome to live from Studio 6B right now, Spencer and his mom, Jen. Hi, guys.
Holy moly.
What's going on, buddy? I like that shirt you're wearing, and I like that hat you're wearing, too. I like both of those. You're looking good in those shirts and that hat. So, Jen, how are you?
I'm good. We're good.
Well, thanks for sending the video. I mean, it was just it was so touching to see it, and so I got such a kick out of watching Spencer do his thing there. So, tell me a little bit about you. Tell me a little bit about you guys, a little bit about Spencer, and tell me how you started watching Rav and how you started watching us.
Well, it started a couple of years ago. We started with Steve Bannon's show, and it just kind of escalated from there. And then we saw you guys on the late night show when we were hanging out in our bedroom, and Spencer was just like, okay, and you really vibed with everything with the show, and I sure did. I love it too. It's the perfect way to end the evening, and Spencer just gets a kick out of it. But the entry, like the music to the beginning,
Yeah.
he actually started doing that because my parents, that's like their thing actually, and we kind of jacked it from them. But it was the weekend of the assassination attempt of President Trump, actually, and that's why his shirt. Here, stand up, buddy, and show him.
Yeah, bulletproof. There you go.
Yeah, so it's significant because that's the weekend that he started doing, he calls it the clappy claps. So that's the weekend that he started doing that, and he's been doing it every night ever since. And when you guys aren't on, sometimes he gets a little distraught, like, I don't get to do the clappy claps tonight. But it's just so great. It's so awesome that, he resonates with everybody from the morning until night. And this is just the way that we top off our evening every night. And I just think it's the best.
Oh, that's awesome. Spencer, thanks. I'm glad you like that song. What do you like about it? Just the way it sounds?
War Room with Steve Bannon. Oh, that was you're funny.
Spencer, wait a second here. Hold on a second.
Yeah, the jingle. You like the jingle. Why do you like the jingle? Because the beat's cool? Yeah.
Now, I heard, Spencer, you're like a TV star now. I saw you on American Sunrise, and I heard somebody ask you what your favorite show on the network was, and I heard you say Steve Bannon. So now that you're on here again with us, I want to give you a chance to rethink that and maybe see if you want to fix your answer. So let me say, Spencer, what's your favorite show on Real America's Voice?
War Room with Steve Bannon.
He's holding his cards.
I like
Raising them right.
That's a kid who stands his ground right there.
There you go.
That's commendable
Yeah,
right there.
good.
And by the way, it's our favorite show on the network too, so we can't blame you
That's
for
right.
that. So
Spencer, real quick, Slick Rick and I do the same thing, but nobody ever sees us do it. So keep the clapping.
That's
up.
right.
We always do.
doing it.
We always clap on the.
that is true.
On
We
the
snap.
desk.
We
Yep.
snap.
We do it too. So
Keep it up, my friend.
well, I mean, guys, it's great. It's great to talk to you, and thanks so much for sending it. And it really does mean a lot to us. Little things mean the most, and we sit here and sometimes we don't know who we're talking to, and we have this big Rav family that is involved in the chat and everything else, and it's great to see a story like that, and it's great to see you guys and have you on. So, Spencer, how's school going? Everything's good with you?
Yep.
All right, buddy. You keep it up. Listen to your mom. Be a good boy, and thanks for watching. We appreciate it. Okay.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having us on tonight.
Oh, it's our pleasure. Thanks so much.
Never thought a video would lead to this, so thank you guys so much. It's incredible.
All right, Jen and Spencer, there they are. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
All right, very cool. Live from Studio 6B, 37 past the hour. How cool is that, right?
That's pretty cool. Look at that,
Very cool.
Spencer, with his favorite show.
His favorite music.
Yes.
That's right.
Who picked that music for that opening? I think I did.
Probably Fran.
Probably Frank.
Probably.
No, I
Fran.
can't take the blame for that one. That was Damon.
Oh, Damon got it. All right.
Thank
he
you.
He built that open.
Good job, Big D.
Thank you very much. All right, Jen and Spencer, there you go. Cool stuff. All right, let's do some sports. 37 past the hour. Let's get a recap since I missed Friday. Odds makers. I did go back and watch it.
Chip was awesome.
Chip was very good.
Yeah, he was really good.
Hey, no, by the way, it reminds me. Chip was good, and everybody so far has been so good that the person this week decided to bail.
Are you serious?
They said, I don't know if I can keep up the they were a little nervous
Oh, okay. Well, that's
about keeping up the
understandable.
standard. So attention, we have an opening for an odds makers of somebody who has not been picked yet. So if you wanted to do the odds makers and did not get picked or did not send in your name, you can send it in tonight. LFS6B@yahoo.com. We're looking for somebody due this week because the person who was picked for this week decided that, and that's fine. I have no problem with that. They were a little nervous about keeping up the doing this segment. So we actually have an opening this week. So if you want to be involved with the odds makers this week and you understand the segment and kind of know what to do, send us an email, LFS6B@yahoo.com. And if not, that's fine. We'll just do it, the three of us. But Slick, I thought Chip was good. Give me what happened in the odds makers.
Oh, well, nobody really did that great this weekend. Aaron and Chip were 2-2 each, and I was 1-3. I'll give you a quick rundown here. Yeah, well, Chip had Iowa over Ohio State. That was a loss for him. Ohio State destroyed Iowa.
I'm just hold on. So did you say 2-2 and then you were 1-3?
1-3. Oh yeah, I'm having a tough year, man. Oh my goodness.
You do sports on the show, right?
I do. Well, listen, I won last year. That wasn't so celebratory, but yeah. There's still plenty of time in the season.
Nobody cares about last year.
I know.
This is more like what'd you do for me lately?
Well, I'm 9-18. I'm 9-18 overall, so I'm having a rough time. The audience is 7-13 overall.
Not bad.
And Erin is doing good. She's 15-12, so she's over 500 overall.
That is,
so she had a good weekend.
That's beyond commendable.
She picked the Jets, which, oh my God, that team, what a nightmare.
Yeah, right, that's enough.
All right, there you go. But
I was with her. I picked the Jets too because I couldn't figure out how they could only be getting 2.5 under the 3 mark. If it was 3,
yeah,
I would have thought differently about it. But 2.5 looked like such a trap. But man, it wasn't. It was free money.
Well,
it was free money.
Thankfully, I don't think anybody had Vandy over Alabama though. That was so upset.
During my 7-hour stream. We were watching that actually, the chat, and we were tracking that.
That was incredible. What an upset!
Welcome to the SEC, boy.
By the way, KDJ said he thought it was fun watching the Jets suck on a different continent.
Yeah, I saw
Notice how I didn't answer that text?
Yeah, I noticed you didn't answer that text. I wasn't too happy with that. But yeah, no, I mean, I could go through all the games. But no, Chip did good. I mean, he had the Wisconsin over Purdue. That was an absolute landslide. It was a good pick by him. I took the Bears over the Panthers, but him and I both got the Seahawks beat the Giants. Nobody saw that coming. Rick and I were talking about that block kick towards the end of the game.
Giants
Looked like Seattle was going to, they were going to tie it at 23. And wow, the guy jumped the, I guess it was the B gap and just knocked the ball over, and they picked it up and went into the end zone. And what a victory for the Giants! Really,
the football. What do we want to call it here? The football gods have certainly changed in New York over the last 2 weeks.
Yeah. Did they ever? Right? Unbelievable. Just never expected. So that's the scoop on odds makers. We'll be going again. We didn't get to pick tonight because President was on, but that's just fine. We'll get back to it on Thursday night. And Major League Baseball right now, big one in the Bronx. Game 2, Yankees trailing the Kansas City Royals 4-1 in the bottom of the 6th. Royals looking to even that series and take it back to Kansas City. And then we have the Tigers earlier today, even things up with the Guardians in Cleveland. They won 3-0. So KDJ will be happy about that. He's an old Detroit Tiger fan, if ever there was one. So that series again, 1-1 American League Division Series. Of course, the Mets and Phillies tied at 1, as are the Dodgers and Padres. So great series is going on all around. We may have 4 series all tied at 1, and as we head into the weekend. So into this week, I should say. And that's a wrap in sports, Big D. I'll put it back to you.
All right, Slick, very good. 41 past the hour. We'll have one more break and then one more segment. We'll do a little more news. So this Kamala Harris 60 minutes, I don't know how you guys feel, but I've been drawing the analogy that, again, there's this compressed calendar that they thought they could get away with, trying to hide her, figuring, people won't remember that she's never actually got a primary vote ever, that people hated her, that she pulled skim milk, never made it to Iowa. We got this condensed calendar. We got Pops out of here, got him to the dog track, let him drool on himself out there. We'll move her in. Everybody will be ecstatic, and we'll just get her to November 5th, no problem. Well, here we are 28 days out, and the at least according to Rasmussen, and again, I don't, what we believe, what we don't believe, we'll have to decide that for ourselves. But seeming to me, they send him to Fox News, they're sending her to call her daddy. I don't know what their internals show them, but the swing state polls cannot look good.
Well, from what I understand, I think I saw one, and I forget the name, but it was a regular one that you talk about. I think Trump up by 11 in Pennsylvania in 1. And I was kind of scratching my head. I'm like, where's this coming from?
That seems a little extreme even for where I'm at. But I have almost no doubt that she's going to continue to leak oil all the way to November 5th. I think she stumbled if she even gets across the finish line. I think she's stumbling on her way there. I think this thing is right there for him to win, as long as the RNC's done their job. I think it's right there for him. All right, we'll wrap it up. One more segment, live from Studio 6B right after this.
and watching dirty movies. Kidding me?
Wednesday. Welcome to the chat, Harry.
Yeah, welcome to the chat, Harry. Everybody say hi to.
Delgado, how's your no shave adventure going?
It's going. This is 6 days.
What the hell? 6 days?
6
Terrible,
days.
isn't it? I told you I can't grow facial.
Take some vitamins or something, would you, please? Damon,
Man.
what's the October surprise going to be? I don't know. I don't know there's going to be one. I think we're watching it
Harry,
unfold.
travel
See you
safe
later,
for
Harry.
us.
Have a good trip.
See you
All right,
next
Harry.
fall.
Safe travels.
Yeah, see you next fall.
Say hi to JD for us.
Oh my goodness, I can't grow facial hair to save my life.
Don't get back on the couch, Harry.
Harry!
Get your ass on the plane, Harry. Can you even see it?
See what?
I knew you were gonna say. It's like I ate a glazed donut and didn't wipe my face.
You are not Harry.
No. I can't grow facial hair. I'm terrible.
No, you're not. You're certainly not the heir apparent.
No. It's such a jackass. Oh, shit. All right, what are we doing here?
I don't know. What are you asking me for?
It's your show.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, tonight it is, huh?
What do you think today was Friday?
Oh, man.
You want to do news or you have no news? I mean,
we
you got 900 clips in there. Why don't you
got
do
a
some
bunch
Oh,
of
news?
this is the
clips.
last segment already.
Yeah,
Oh, my
it's already
God.
the last segment.
I mean, sending clips after we've already started the show. I mean, do you ever stop sending clips? That's the only question Fran, Aaron, and I have.
Look, we just have to play the whole clip.
I'm going to blow up every clip you play.
Shut
Oh,
up.
don't do that again.
You know what happened last time?
Yeah, last time. Oh, there's Taylor Swift. Oh, God, she's at the game. Man, she looks like Betty Crocker with that dress. Oh, my own. Can you bake a bun cake?
Oh, the Taylor Swift dress? Yeah, it's like, what is she wearing?
I got a bun cake, and I'll write your name.
What is that?
Aaron got that one. Somebody knows music, at least contemporary pop.
Hi, live from Studio 6, 13 to the hour on a Monday. Live from, what are we on? Real America's Voice is what we're on. 13 to the hour. Slick's doing a little sports. Delgado's got some news. Aaron and Fran holding it down as always. We covered the president in the October 7th remembrance he held at Doral for most of the show. And then Jen and Spencer joined us. That was fun. But we got a little time left here. Let's try to do some more news and sports. We'll start with news. News is brought to you by Freedom Force Nutrition, available live from Studio6B.com. Great supplements, vitamins. Take a look. All available at the website. More to come. Freedom Force Nutrition. Check it out at livefromstudio6b.com. 15% off right now. Everything and anything from their line is available 15% off. Delgado, what's going on?
Well, we were talking about Hurricane Milton, which is bearing down on the state of Florida. Right now, it's a Category 4. They expect it to hit Category 5 status. And you wonder, after what we just saw with Helene, what the response from the federal government, from FEMA, is going to be. Well, it could be that some of the problems lay with the people who actually run the damn joint. That outfit over there.
Well, what would give you that idea, Rick?
Well, it could be how they decide who gets assistance when it comes to disaster recovery. I've got cut number 1. Here's FEMA. They want to make sure that disaster equity is taken into account, Damon, before they go handing out any of these checks of $700 for people. Here's cut number 1. Take a listen to this disaster.
Check out the names on the little
sparked
cards.
a few things in my mind, thinking about preparedness and how you said, LGBTQIA people and people who have been disadvantaged already are struggling. They already have their own things to deal with. So you add a disaster on top of that. It's just compounding on itself. And I think that is maybe the why of why we're having these discussions, is because it isn't being talked about. It isn't being socialized. We're not paying attention to this community. Thank you so much. Maggie.
Thank you.
Take a listen to Maggie.
There are a couple of things that are intersecting in my mind here. One of them is the culture of emergency management as an organization, as an industry in the United States specifically, not abroad. This has, and my cat sometimes does this, she gets really loud suddenly, so you'll have to just allow for the little meowing in the background. The shift that we're seeing right now is a shift in emergency management from utilitarian principles where everything is designed for the greatest good for the greatest amount of people,
you would think,
to disaster equity. But we have to do more, right? And so this topic is intersecting, I think, with a number of other topics where we have to look at policies and understand to what extent they have disadvantaged communities that had less assets, communities that had pre-existing vulnerabilities in accessing disaster-related recovery supports.
That is a disaster.
She's going to be Kamala's press secretary, that woman.
Yeah. So this is what we're dealing with. This is part of the problem, is that you have people thinking about, well, equity. What communities have been impacted even before a storm hits? So we have to make sure that we take care of them first, because they want to make sure that, it's all equity based instead of, like she said earlier, the way it's supposed to be, where you're trying to do the most that you can for the most amount of people, because that's the way these things work. You're trying to help people as much as possible, not hurt ones that you think, well, they did pretty well in life, so they don't really need any help. This is the problem. And this is the problem that we're going to continue to see play out over and over again, because these are the types of people that are infected, Obama 2.0, basically.
When did we start putting our pronouns on our little bottom little corner of our screen? So that's what we're doing. That's that a new thing now? Is that a new, put your pronouns in instead of just your name?
I guess. Who knows? I don't know. All I know is they're all on the government dime, and we're paying them. So there's that issue. And then, of course, on a happier note, I don't know if you were watching over the weekend, of course, Donald Trump and Butler. One of the highlights, for me at least, was this cut number 6 when Elon Musk was brought up on stage, just looking like a little. I guess now he knows he is already the richest man in the world, but now he knows how it feels to be Tony Stark, because he gets to see a huge crowd that comes and sees him. This is cut number 6. Check this out when he comes on stage.
Into space. Come here.
He's like a little kid.
Take over, Elon. Yes, take over.
He was great.
Jumping up and down like a lunatic.
That is too funny.
Hi, everyone.
Yeah.
So I thought that
See a couple of the photos of the guys who caught some pictures of him jumping behind Trump?
Yeah.
He's like one midair.
with his shirt
he
all
is,
up.
He is. Did you see he just did about 2 hours with Tucker Carlson?
Yes.
Got released tonight.
I got a couple clips of that.
Oh, let's hear one. Before I got to do some sports, but let me hear one.
Here's cut number 2. Here's Elon Musk telling Tucker the reason why Kamala gets so much support from billionaires. Cut number 2. Check this out.
Will that ever come out, do you think? I think part of why Kamala's getting so much support is that if Trump wins, that Epstein client list is going to become public.
Yes.
And some of those billionaires behind Kamala are terrified of that outcome.
Yeah. Do you think Reid Hoffman's uncomfortable?
Yes.
Oh.
And Gates.
Oh.
Good old Bill.
And I only ask that because you just look at them and you're like, that's a nervous person right there. I don't know. I mean, I assume you know them. Yeah.
Yes. Reid Hoffman was my vice president of business development at PayPal.
Yeah.
24 years ago.
Does he seem nervous to you?
Yeah, I mean, he's terrified of a Trump victory.
Yeah. A lot of people are. lot
So
of
you can
people
imagine.
are.
There are some more clips.
As there's a lot of them.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I got a great clip we'll have for tomorrow where he talks about what happens if Kamala wins and what would happen to him.
Yeah, that's
It's
the
a
one I
pretty-
thought. That's the one I saw.
It's a pretty funny clip. We'll
It
have
is.
that for tomorrow.
That's pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's all I got for now.
All right, we'll
Let's
do
turn it
that
over for
tomorrow
sports.
when we get back. Vinnie Mac will be here tomorrow night. Kevin Downey Jr. will be here Wednesday and Thursday. Vinnie Mac will be here Tuesday, Friday this week, so that'll be our schedule. We're going to be covering the Trump event on Wednesday because he starts at 7, which is probably meaning late, and we'll probably be rolling into us on Wednesday from his rally, so we'll be covering that. Let's do a little more sports. Slick, what's going on?
All right, the update on the scoreboard. Good night to be a Kansas City fan. You got the Royals right now in the Bronx on the road, leading 4-1 over the Yankees, trying to even that series up. It's in this 7th inning. And then in the NFL, Monday Night Football, the Kansas City Chiefs right now leading the New Orleans Saints 16-7 at Arrowhead or Geha, whatever they call that stadium now, right? Some acronym. But and right now, Taylor Kelsey with 8 catches for about 67 yards. Taylor Swift in the house, whatever that's worth. And so both teams looking
Your hair
really
looks good, Slick.
Oh, yeah, I got it cut on Saturday.
Yeah, looks good.
Let's empty the bank account for that one. Nah, thank you very much. Yeah, I needed a haircut. I was desperately needed. And I believe his big star, is it Morgan Wallen or Wallen?
Morgan Wallen, yeah.
Morgan enters Raymond James Stadium
Yeah, with the
wearing
Hulkster.
47 jersey with the Hulkster, Big D. This was Warner Todd Houston, a Breitbart country star. Morgan Wallen was joined by 2 sports stars for his entrance at Raymond James Stadium, ironically in Tampa, right, on Florida. On Friday night, Tampa Bay Buccaneers quarterback Baker Mayfield and wrestling legend Hulk Hogan. Indeed, to further cement his tribute to the Bucs, Wallen also wore a number 47 jersey with football executive and former Bucs John Lynch, according to Taste of Country. However, Wallen is obviously wholly unafraid of being canceled by the extreme leftists on social media, who are furious that Hogan is an open Trump supporter. So good stuff there.
I saw
Big D.
Jason Aldean's concert last week. He's opening up the show now, or part of the, I don't know if it's the opening of the show, but at some point in the show, he plays a video message from Trump.
Nice.
Full
Good.
screen.
Good to see
Trump
these
talks
guys.
to the audience and talks about Jason and his wife. Oh, yeah.
Wow.
So there.
Good stuff. Right there.
I think it's right there. It's right there in front of him. I think she can only bleed for another 30 days to support. People are going, yeah, I think not really. We don't want to take this chance for 4 years. All right, as always, we salute our military, active and active, police, firefighters, first responders, EMTs, everybody on the front lines. Thanks, everybody. Aaron Fran, great job as always. I want to thank one more time Jen and Spencer for joining us. All the people at Real America's Voice help us covering Trump tonight. We'll see you tomorrow night. Vinnie Mac will be here. 8 o'clock, live from Studio 6B. We'll see you then.